A black American man that is literally looking for food for his family. A man that took his time to understand what the system is all about and decided to do his daily job so that at the end of the day, his children can get something to eat. Right? A man that is well responsible, a man that literally did not create any harm or shows any form of harshness to this thing that tagged herself privileged, was doing his job on a normal day and decided to pick this particular lady. This man is an Uber driver. I don't know if people have literally seen this particular clip, but I'm so happy that I went into research and wrote out even what happened after, because the man was able to like explain every single thing in another video, right? I don't know if you guys have seen it. This man is an Uber driver, not worse, he's an Uber driver. And this man literally picked this lady, this white lady, because she'd order for an Uber. And he said the moment he started going, you are going to be hearing more of the explanation, this lady started acting strange and she started acting somehow, and he decided to pull and park where there were stores, where there were restaurants, where there were shopping mall. And reason because he don't want a situation where this lady will literally lie on him. And guess what this lady did? This lady sat in this man's car comfortable, and decided to call the cops, saying she feel unsafe. Let me just go and roll out the clip for you guys, because honestly, when I saw this, I told myself, this is absolutely nonsense. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Sonia. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. Credit belongs to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. And this is just for educational purposes only, so that we can also watch and learn, because I have a lot to teach and say at the end of this video. With that being said, let's go watch the clip.
He's videoing me now.
Yeah, for my safety.
If you feel endangered, I would refer you to call the police.
So what do you provide as a safety line?
She says she feels unsafe. I'm sitting here, obviously, have my seatbelt on. Nothing's going on. She's sitting back there. She refuses to get out of my vehicle. So I'm recording for my safety.
Is there any store or is there anything in the area that you're in that you can go in and wait for your next Uber driver?
As you can see, there's businesses right in front of us. You see the businesses. She says she don't feel safe, but she refuses to get out. She can go right to the business over there. There's chairs. She can sit there with her things and wait for her next Uber.
He's gonna drive off with my packages. I mean, this is like, never had this before. I'm pretty surprised that you're not able to provide more assistance other than call the police. I have an expensive package in the trunk. If I get out, what if he drives off with it?
Now she's saying I might drive off with her things when I can clearly just take them out and place them over the side.
Get out of his car and he's on the phone with the authorities. You could get your package and wait for your next Uber.
But how do I get the package? I need him to open the trunk.
Open the trunk.
Okay.
You can ask him to open the trunk.
Well, I'll do that right now. Whatever gets you out of here, I don't care. I'll open it. You get your package, whatever you need to do. I'm going to get her package out of the back because she's scared I'm going to take her package. This is her package. Get her package out. Set it right here beside her so she can have it. Her package is out. Package is right there. I'm right here. I'm getting back into my vehicle.
Alright, y'all. If you're genuinely afraid for your life, why are you still sitting in the car, not calling the police, not trying to get out immediately? Instead, you're on the phone with customer support. Like, what is customer support supposed to do if you're claiming you're in danger? From everything that's been explained, the driver stayed calm the entire time. He was on a hands-free call with a friend, minding his business, and that alone got labeled as unsafe. When she said she felt uncomfortable, he got off the phone. He then pulled over into a well-lit area, residential, stores nearby, and told her she was free to get out because he didn't want her feeling uneasy. If the fear was real, that was the moment. Get out. No debate. But she didn't. Instead, she stayed in the car and kept pushing the situation, still not calling the police, still not leaving. And that's where people start asking questions, because when survival instincts kick in, you don't sit around arguing. You move. What really stands out is that even support suggested calling the police, and she didn't want to. It started to feel like she was waiting for the situation to turn into something bigger, something she could frame a certain way. In the end, the driver got out, calmly grabbed her package, and placed it next to her. She still sat there for a few more seconds before finally leaving. And let's be honest, the package was accessible the whole time. That's why people are frustrated. If you say you're scared, your actions should match that fear. When they don't, it stops looking like fear and starts looking like someone searching for a problem. And yeah, that's the part folks aren't really ready to talk about.
All right, y'all. Let's really talk about this situation because something is not adding up. If you're truly scared for your life, explain to me why you would stay sitting in someone's car, not calling the police, not trying to get out immediately, instead calling customer support. What exactly is customer support supposed to do in a moment where you're claiming you're in danger? From everything that was explained, the driver was calm the entire time. He was on a hands-free call with a friend, minding his business, and that alone was labeled as unsafe. He even got off the phone when she said she felt uncomfortable. Then he pulled over into a well-lit residential area with stores around and told her she could exit the car because he didn't want her to feel unsafe. If fear was real, that was the moment to leave. But she didn't. Instead, she stayed in the car and kept escalating the situation, still not calling the police, still not leaving. That's the part people are questioning. Because when survival instincts kick in, you don't sit around arguing. You get out, period. What really stands out is that even the support person suggested calling the police, and she didn't want to. It felt like she was waiting for the situation to turn into something bigger, something she could frame a certain way. At the end, the driver got out, calmly grabbed her package, and placed it next to her. She still sat there for a few seconds before finally leaving. And let's be real, the package was accessible the whole time. This is why people are frustrated. If you're scared, your actions should match your words. Because when they don't, it starts to feel less like fear and more like someone looking for a problem. And that's the conversation nobody wants to have. Y'all, I watched that whole Uber clip twice because I thought maybe I was missing something, but the math still ain't mathing. This woman keeps saying she feels unsafe, yet she's sitting comfortably in the man's car, seatbelt still on, phone out, having full conversations. Baby, when I feel unsafe, I'm gone. I'm not negotiating, I'm not debating, I'm not calling customer service, I'm getting out. The driver literally pulls over in a well-lit residential area with stores right there, tells her she can step out and wait for another ride, even records for his own protection, and instead of leaving, she stays put and calls Uber support like they're about to teleport through the phone and save her. And then she starts talking about some expensive package in the trunk. Girl, what? If I think somebody might hurt me, that package can live there forever. My life is more important than Amazon. The whole situation just feels off. Like it wasn't fear, it was control. Like she wanted him to react so she could say, "See, I told you he was dangerous." Meanwhile, this man is calm, polite, not raising his voice, even getting out to hand her stuff back. And we've seen this story way too many times. Black men minding their business, getting labeled threats for existing. If you're truly scared, you leave. Staying seated and arguing doesn't scream danger, it screams drama. I'm sorry, but something about that just does not sit right with me.
If Johnny had 5 apples,
Why on earth would you sit in somebody's car if you're in fear for your life? Why would you sit there and not call the police? No. You're calling the Uber help or Uber support line. What are they supposed to do to help you? And you're sitting there. See, this is why, like, I can't, these clear women, the clears, they all got a little bit of that what's her name? Caroline Bryant spirit in them, where they just be lying and exaggerating and making stuff seems like more than what it is because they want to see black people in harm's way. This man was completely calm, cool, and collected. The reason why she said she felt unsafe, according to his caption, child, I got stuff all on my shirt and all. Anyways, is because he was using a hands-free headset talking to his friend. And she said, I feel unsafe. He said he got off the phone and she continued to say she was feeling unsafe. So he said he pulled over. He made sure he was in a residential area. There were shops in front of him. He said, okay, you can get out of the car. I don't want to make you feel unsafe. Like, if you are fearing for your life so hard, get out. He says she refused to leave, proceeded to continue to sit there, and then called Uber support or whoever, but not the police. And she was so afraid for her life. Would you sit in a car with somebody that you think is going to physically cause you harm? Fuck that package. I don't even give a fuck about the package. My life is way more important than the package. If I would have got on, he would have drove with the package, I would have been sad, distraught. He would have got reported. I would have filed a police report. Do the whole shebang. But your fight or flight instincts, your survival instincts is in the shitter. If you're going to continue to sit there and talk on the phone, even the dispatcher or whoever that lady was, she was like, oh, call the police. She wanted that man to escalate the situation so she could take it somewhere else and she could just, play the victim and cry her Karen tears. Because what does this make sense? And at the end, the lady was like, well, you can ask him to open his trunk so you can get your package. He literally got out, took her package out. First of all, it was one of those cars where you could, like, I don't know what it's called, but where the trunk is not separate from the seats. She could have reached over and grabbed her package. Got to be more careful. He got out, got her package, put it on the side of her. She sat there for a couple more seconds and then eventually got out. I think she just wanted a problem. Who's scared? They always do this. I'm so afraid, but we'll get in the elevator with black people. I'm so scared, but we'll walk up to black people and be all up in their face asking them a million questions, but yet they so afraid. Spread love is the Brooklyn way.
This whole Uber situation is not making sense to me at all, because why on earth would you sit in somebody's car if you're truly in fear for your life? Like, be so serious. If you feel unsafe, you get out and you call the police, period. But no, she's sitting there calling Uber support. Like, Uber support is supposed to jump through the phone and save you. What are they going to do while you're still sitting in the car? And this is exactly why I can't stand these clear women, because they always be lying, exaggerating, and trying to make situations seem worse than what they are, especially when it involves a black man. According to the driver, the only reason she said she felt unsafe was because he had a hands-free headset on talking to his friend. She said she felt unsafe. He got off the phone, and she kept saying she felt unsafe anyway. So he pulled over in a residential area with shops around, told her she could get out, and said he didn't want her to feel uncomfortable. But she refused to leave and just kept sitting there, still not calling the police, just calling Uber support. Like, if you were really scared, you would not be sitting there arguing. You would not be worried about no package. You would be worried about getting out alive. Your survival instincts would kick in immediately. And even the dispatcher told her to call the police, but she didn't, because it honestly feels like she wanted that man to escalate the situation so she could play victim and start crying on camera. Then at the end, Uber support told her to ask him to open the trunk so she could get her package, and he literally got out, grabbed her package, and placed it next to her. And mind you, it was one of those cars where the trunk isn't even separate. She could have reached back and grabbed it herself. She still sat there for a few more seconds before finally getting out. This whole thing just screams that she wanted a problem, because who is scared but refuses to leave? They always do this, claiming they're terrified, but they'll still get in elevators with black people, walk right up to black people, get in their face, ask a million questions, and then suddenly act like they're in danger. It's exhausting, and it's honestly disgusting.
Hey, y'all. So, it's been brought to my attention that people want a part 2 of the Uber Chronicles. Very strange, I guess, situation I had on yesterday. Now, I'll try and play back in my head and give kind of like a rundown or run through. What are you doing, Princess? Sorry, my doggy. She wants pets right now. But, so, I mean, it was normal, you know. I go pick the lady up, and, I mean, she seemed okay at first. So, you know, I opened the back and let her put her package in the back because that's where she wanted to put it. So I let her put her package in the back. Closed the door, got in. Now, this was the first strange thing that happened. She first sat behind the passenger seat. As I started driving, she shifts over to sit behind me, behind the driver's seat. And, you know, I tell her, hey, ma'am, you know, moving back and forth while the vehicle's moving, that's not safe. So I'd really appreciate it if you didn't do that. If you would, you know, just sit still, put your seatbelt on. Guess she wasn't really trying to hear that. So she shifted one more time back over to the passenger seat. And I told her, I was like, ma'am, could you please put your seatbelt on? She didn't want to do that. Now, I was already talking to my buddy before I picked her up. So when I talk, I use this headset. I'm a truck driver. You know, I do Uber and Lyft like on the side. So it's not my main gig. So this only covers one ear, hands-free. You know, under Florida state law, that's legal. Also under Florida state law, you are allowed to talk on the phone while driving Uber. Now, some of you all have a problem with that. Fine. That's your personal preference. However, your Uber driver, they don't have to adhere to that just because you don't like it. Now, is it a nicety? Yes. But I was already talking to my buddy. Now, if I have passengers, if they talk to me, because a lot of people, they get in, they don't want to talk. They just want to ride, and they could care less if you're talking to anybody on the phone. They don't really care, you know. But there are people that talk to me, and when they talk to me, I'll not talk to whoever I'm talking to on the phone, and I'll talk to them. I have a conversation with the passenger. I've done that hundreds of times, you know. I've done a lot of these rides. So this is nothing new. But yeah. So I'm talking on the phone with my buddy. Then she asked me, are you on the phone? I was like, yeah, I'm on the phone. I'm talking to my buddy. And she's like, oh, are you from New York? Like, no, I'm from Florida. You know, I live here. I'm born and raised in Florida. And she says, oh, well, the only people I know that talk while they're on the phone are people from New York. I'm like, okay. She's like, well, I'm from New York. Okay. Like, but me not understanding. I'm like, I don't know what this has to do with anything. But okay, all right. And she's like, well, I think it's rude that you're on the phone. I was like, well, you know, I was on the phone before you ever got into the vehicle, and I'm allowed to be on the phone. You know, you may think it's rude, but it's not illegal for me to be on the phone talking to my buddy. I'm well within my rights. She didn't like that. So now she starts to say, well, I don't feel safe. You don't feel safe? All right. Well, I told her, well, since you don't feel safe, I'll pull over to an establishment. You know, it's during the weekday. It's in like the middle, you know, of the day. It's like, I'll pull over to an establishment. I'll cancel the ride. You can request a new ride, and you can go wait in one of the establishments, you know, with your things. So that way, you know, you feel safe since you don't feel safe in my vehicle. So she tells me no. I was like, well, no, you just told me you don't feel safe. So now you have to get out of here. Like, I can't be riding around with somebody that's telling me that they don't feel safe. I don't know what you're going to do. You know, you could call the police on me and tell them that you don't feel safe. And now I'm a black guy with this white woman that's saying she don't feel safe. I don't know what could happen from that. And I ain't trying to figure it out either. And I ain't trying to go through it. So I'm like, no, I'm going to pull over to the establishment. You can get out, get your things, and just go over there. You know, I made sure I parked in a parking lot where there was multiple businesses. You can go over there, you know, and wait for your new Uber. I canceled the ride. I pulled over. I'm waiting. I'm like, ma'am, you can go ahead and exit the vehicle. She refused. I said, ma'am, would you please exit the vehicle? She refused. I said, okay. Then she calls Uber safety. I'm like, okay, so now we're doing this. I asked her one more time, ma'am, would you please exit the vehicle? If you do not exit the vehicle, I will call the police and have them come so that maybe they can have you exit the vehicle. I'm not putting my hands on you. I'm not touching you. I'm not doing anything. It's already to the point where you're saying you don't feel safe. So I'm not doing that. So she still refused. So now it's at the point, look, I'm a nice guy. I'm a patient guy. I'm a calm guy. I don't like being upset. I don't like being in confrontation. I don't like any of that. I avoid all that stuff. For God's sake, I wear a one-piece sweater. All right? I like video games. I like music. I don't like confrontation and all that. I'm really an introvert for real. I don't even like going out for real. So I'm like, okay. So I called the police and I had them on the phone. I told them the whole situation, the rundown. They said they were going to send somebody. Now, as you know, in a I guess it wasn't really important for them because I don't know why, but it was taking a while. So I started recording. I'm like, the lady already said she don't feel safe. So I need to record. Now, for the recording, I have two vehicles. And I normally do Uber in my other vehicle, and that's where my dash cam is. I forgot. I just got this other vehicle, so I didn't purchase a secondary dash cam to put in there, which, poo-poo on me. I should have paid attention. Now, I talked to the police. They said they're going to send somebody. I started recording, and that's where the video picks up. And then she starts saying all this stuff about her package and all this stuff. She don't want me to drive off with it and all that. I'm like, man, I already told you that you can take your package. Like, you can go over there before I ever started recording. Like, yo, if you don't feel safe, don't stay in here. Like, go, If I didn't feel safe around an individual or in somebody's vehicle, I'm getting out that vehicle. I'm getting away from that individual. Come on, man. But I mean, that's it, and the people that say, oh, you could have already taken the package out. I don't touch people's stuff, man. If I go back there and I, go to take the package out, not just you can say, oh, well, he's trying to destroy my, my expensive package. And the package, no lie, had cans of soda in it. Cans of soda. Come on, man. I don't touch people's stuff. But when they said that, when she was on the safety call and with the safety lady, and she was like, well, ask him if he can take it out or whatever, or he can open the door or whatever. Hey, I'll take it out, whatever I got to do to get you out of here. Because I don't like this. I don't like drama. I don't like any of this. Everybody I had before her and everybody after her had no problem with me talking to my buddy on the phone. If I was talking to him, they had no problem with anything. I'm safe. I drive safe. I don't have no record of nothing. I don't even have a speeding ticket, parking ticket. I don't have nothing. I'm one of the safest freaking people out here. So, I don't know, man. But yeah, that's it, man. Y'all just be safe out here, man. Stuff gets real crazy real fast. It was just one simple thing. But when you tell me you don't feel safe, it's time for you to exit my vehicle. Because I'm not about to keep you in there. So, yeah, that's it. Hope it cleared up any questions. If you have any more, just hit the comments like you did before. All right. Deuces.
Anyways, guys, welcome back. And you guys know that I said that this is actually for educational purposes, right? So let's educate each other so that we all can understand when something happened, right? Okay. If you feel in immediate danger, call emergency service 911 in the United States, right? Immediately. Tell them you are in a ride share, which is a Uber, your location, check the app for live location, the vehicle description, and license plates in the app. If you can, stay on the phone until help arrives. Now, another way is use Uber in app safety feature, okay? Where Uber has an inbuilt tools designed for emergency button. Open the app during the ride, tap for the safety toolkit, usually it's a shared icon, tap emergency assistance, and it can share your trip details and location with 119. Share your trip using share trip status with a trusted friend or family members. They can track you live. Report through app after the ride or once safe. Unsafe driving, inappropriate comments. Listen, oh, this is things that can make you feel unsafe. Oh. When demand is driving, unsafe driving, inappropriate comments, route manipulation, and any threatening behavior. Those are the things that will make you lay these complaints. Now, if you feel uncomfortable and not immediate danger, trust your instinct. You did not need a good enough reason to leave. You can ask to be dropped off in a well-lit public area. End the ride early in a safe place. Gas station, store, business areas. Call a friend and stay on the phone. Pretend someone is expecting you and tracking your location. Now, before and during the ride, prevention tips. Verify the license plates, car and driver's photo before getting in. Sit in the back seat. Share your trip with someone and avoid oversharing personal details. Keep your phone charged. Now, red flags to take serious. Drivers deviate from the route without explanation. That is when you know that there is a trouble. Refuse to let you out. That is when you know there is a trouble. Lock doors intentionally. That is when you know there is a trouble. Make sexual or threatening comments. That is when you know there is a trouble. Ask you to cancel the ride and pay outside the app. That is where you will know there is a trouble. Most important thing, if someone feel off or unsafe, trust your gut. You are not overreacting. You are protecting yourself. Stop the car, drop immediately, or do any of the above. Now, why am I bringing this? I'm bringing this because this woman said she feel uncomfortable. And this woman was literally not calling 119. This woman was literally calling the customer service of the Uber ride. This man, which is this responsible man, parked his car so that it will not look like he is moving ahead with her in a place where she can literally scream and call for help. This man was literally on his seat belt. On his seat belt. This white woman was not sitting close to this man. She was sitting behind him, which simply means she can see every single thing that is happening. This driver did not put any other passenger in the car. This driver did not take any other malicious routes. Maybe she was supposed to go through Mr. A route and the man just went to another side. This man did not violate any of this policy, but because they have this annoying spirit of making chaos, creating chaos where there are not chaos, she decided to do what? To start acting nonsense, acting weird, acting as if she was pinned there, or the car was automatically locked, or she was not able to cancel her ride. Why are these people like this? Why is it that these people always look out for things that will make a black American man look stupid or rubbish this man's name? For crying out loud, this is where this man is getting some of his daily income. A lot of you white folks have tagged black Americans to be lazy. They don't know what to do. Now they have decided to pick up a job to do for themselves, to put food on their table, you still find it uncomfortable. You still find it annoying that you have to start reporting them. And I love what this Uber driver man did. He turned on his video immediately. Now, just imagine this man did not turn off this video. This white woman can go ahead, frame this man, sue this man, and there is nothing anybody can do about it. And I can tell you for a whole fact that a lot of black people have been in prison, a lot of black people have been, just name different type of thing, just because of wrong accusation coming from the people that claim to have stupid privilege, coming from the people that claim to know a lot of things, coming from the people that claim to understand what the system is. It's that crazy, honestly, that you do not want people to just progress in their daily activities. Now, you can listen from the explanation that this man explained. And please, if you're an Uber driver, someone is acting strange in your car, start filming your video, because at least this video was able to prove a lot of things. Just imagine it was in the era where you cannot even make a video, or let me just assume that you cannot do anything. They just lie. You just go to prison, or you just pay fines you're not supposed to pay for, just because of their own malicious acts. You feel unsafe. You did not drop from the car. You are still sitting in the car comfortably, but you feel unsafe. You feel unsafe, but you did not tell yourself, okay, maybe, excuse me, I want to pick up something, or just excuse yourself just because you want to drop. You just assume that a man that is putting on seatbelts, you were not on gunpoint, nothing, you feel unsafe. Now he is parked, drop, you still feel unsafe, and you're... Let me know what you think in the comment section. Credit belongs to original creators. Every Uber driver out there as a black driver, please be very careful. These people can literally do anything just to frame you up. So you have to be very careful. You have to watch and learn. In fact, you have to even share this video to your family, friends, anyone you know is doing jobs like this. And let it not only end in the Uber line. If you are in a situation where you feel like these people can lie on your head, these people can frame you, or please film. And that is why you don't see me stop bringing all of these intimidation videos, because at the end of the day, that is what is happening in the society. And I'm happy that a lot of black people are ready to film, are ready to expose a lot of things. Because if not, the rate at which these people, the length at which they are ready to go, it's really crazy, honestly. I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you supporting, liking, commenting, sharing. I do not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best. And thank you so much for staying stick and hook with me to the end of this video. Let me know your honest opinion in the comment section. For disclaimers, this is just for educational purposes only, and credit to the original creators of every single clips and stitches I have in today's episode. And yes, with that being said, with no further ado, I do like what I say in my videos. I'm going to be seeing, and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye guys. I love you guys. Mwah.